Alright guys, I know I'm super late to the party, but I finally have time to just sit down, start recording, and talk about my thoughts on this. So as we all know, Annie is coming into second encore. We've known that since last year, nothing new here. But then, look at this. A new character is coming already, and there are no hints, except for Ice Cream Truck and that skeleton. The interesting is that there's no date, so we don't know if this character is even coming this year. It might come next year, depending on how the development goes, but someone is definitely coming. Which is insane! A new character already? Man. Big things are coming. Big things. Okay, so y'all probably will know this, but if you just Google Skullgirls 3rd DLC character in Google, you'll come to this page, which is in the Lab Zero Games website, and it basically has a list of possible characters that they've thought of to add as part of the DLC. And of course, this is how they had a voting, and that's how they got Eliza and Beowulf into the game. But there's a lot of other characters as well as their playstyle speculation, but do take it as a grain of salt with a playstyle because it's their idea, but some of it may not always come to reality. For example, Eliza is supposed, let me bring up Eliza here. She's supposed to have blood control powers, but I think they scrapped it up because it was, okay, I don't know the reason, but they scrapped it up, and only her second method mode really became a true thing. So not all of them will come to reality, but Annie was quite accurate actually. Her sword, blah blah blah. Powers of galactic motif, that's true. We see her beams and stuff, and the sparkly magical girl motif as well. And of course, inspiration from Soul Bad Guy. If you play the mobile game, Solar Flare, definitely. So yeah, there's Pattern Trinity as well. Yes, that's one of her variants as well in the game, in the mobile game. But yeah, so come read this page if you want to know more on possible characters. It is possible that they take a character outside of this list, but I think that's quite unlikely. These are characters have been voted for. They have a pretty good idea of which characters really resonate with the player base, because of course they're not only marketing this for the Skullgirls mobile community, but of course the whole Skullgirls community, which of course has a bigger audience. Alright, so in those lists of characters, they had a poll where they voted which characters they wanted to become reality, and of course we know Eliza and Beowulf is the winner, but it's really interesting to see which other candidates were considered as a forerunner. So that we have Isaac, Annie, Minette, Stanley, Aeon, Panzer, Faust are pretty huge in the first round, and then in the second round, Minette, Annie, Isaac still hold. Third round, Annie, Minette, Aeon. And of course in the final round, it's Annie, Eliza, Annie, Minette, Aeon. And Annie became the one that became a real character. In the second vote, it doesn't really show, but Beowulf, Minette, Annie. So if we're just going with previous polls, Minette actually has a really good chance of becoming a character, just from the popularity poll. But of course, the situation with Annie and now is a bit different. With Annie, I think the Skullgirls community has been a bit quiet because there hasn't been any update. So with Annie, they really wanted to bring a character that's really new, really hyped. People will hype for it and get back into the game. So of course they picked the second, possibly most popular character, Annie. And now I think we're at the spot where people are already hyped. They're expecting Annie, and the new character could really be, I think it could really literally be anything. Like, you bring anything that has, people will like. Like, I think this is a pretty good list, from 10% to 26%. Bring either of these characters from the popularity poll, and I think people will be hyped either way. But I know a lot of people have been saying Black Dahlia, Mary, and I think Umbrella were like top contenders for them. And yeah, I could see that. Out of those three, I would really like Marie. Black Dahlia for me is a bit of a mystery. And Umbrella, just looks a bit annoying, to be honest. And a part of the reason why a lot of people wanted Black Dahlia, Marie, and Umbrella into the game is because of this comment way back in the past that said the Skullgirls universe story and lore could only come forward if these three characters, their background were explored. But here's a quote from Hidden Variable from Sal that said that does not dictate what the new character could be. Annie, for example, isn't required for the true story mode, and she was a big next character. So yeah, it could really be anyone. And now, the developers has changed, the team is I think slightly changed, but I guess the leadership changed because of Lab Zero things. So things are way different now, and it might not be the same as it was a few years ago. So let's talk about the characters, just some characters. I don't want to talk to all of them because that's just way too many. But I'm really interested in the playstyles of this new character, especially in mobile, since I come from a Skullgirls mobile background. I didn't play any Skullgirls before this. Okay, with Umbrella, my only problem is that I don't get her vibe. She has like a childlike personality, but we already have that in Peacock somewhat. So if she comes into the game, like, I wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, I'm not really excited for it because it's not totally unique, although her playstyle could be pretty interesting. Choose between hunger and 2 and special moves for extra advantage throughout the match, or let his hunger build up for more damage later. So I'm guessing she's gonna have like a hunger meter in the mobile game probably, and it'll increase per time. So kind of like star power, but instead of activating star power, it's like you get hunger and damage multiplier. I don't know, that's quite interesting. But yeah, I don't really dig her character, but her playstyle could be interesting. Next is Marie, which is the current Skullgirls in the game. Okay, so playstyle wise, we already have a boss in the Skullgirls second 9 core, right? So we kind of know what she can do, well, as a boss. She can summon undead minions, use her maze skills to cleanse the world of her enemies. Okay, I kind of like her stick with the whole maid / undead thing. Like, it could be interesting, really interesting. Kind of the reason why I like Skullgirls is because they kind of mix like ordinary concepts with like bizarre ones into like something totally cool. Like Big Band, for example, like a music theme with like a detective. Like, it's so weird. And Marie is kind of like that, like an evil maid. Okay, so I don't really play a lot of fighting games, so I don't know what her gameplay inspiration will look like, or any of them. But this I think could translate really well in mobile. I could really see how she can become a character with some undead minions. Well, that'll be weird to control. For Marie, I actually would like her to be more of like a boss fight character in Prize Fight, for example. I think that's been suggested a few times, and I think that's still really cool. Like, reach a certain amount of streaks, fight Marie, get tons of rewards if you beat her, and yeah, just as a boss character instead of like a playable character. Although a playable character could be cool, but I know Marie has like a really large form with all the skulls, so maybe like she could be like an Eliza Sekhmeth thing where you press a button and she becomes this huge humongous thing. I don't know, it's really interesting. Marie is probably my favorite out of the Umbrella, Marie, Black Dahlia trio that a lot of people have suggested. The next one is Black Dahlia, and I get she has like a grenade launcher as a hand, and she's like a hitman, but there's so much secret behind her that I'm not excited for it. But again, this could be a reason to put her in the game to explore her backstory. But yeah, I don't really have anything to say. Keeps her arsenal well hidden behind launchers. She's in above dirty tactics. Just from reading her playstyle speculation in mobile, I think she could be a really broken character. Just with all the tools in her arsenal. She could be like another Parasol in terms of utility. But yeah, Black Dahlia is Black Dahlia. Nothing to say. Miss Victoria. I hope she doesn't become a character. I'm really not interested at all. I feel like her stick is just that she fights with using like books and stuff. Throwing chalk using the blackboard. That's weird. And this is probably like a common trope in fighting games or something, having like a character that attacks using like normal day items. But I don't know. I hope she's not the character. There's nothing about her that excites me at all. D Violet. This is pretty much the same character, isn't it? Just a different form. You know what would be cool if she can like, I don't know, like transform into the other and have like a variety of different moves. Not just like Sekhmet, because Sekhmet is pretty, what do you call it? Sekhmet is pretty one-dimensional. There's only so much you can do with it. But like, imagine if Miss Victoria becomes a new character and she taps a button, she becomes the Violet, and she just have a whole totally different moveset. So it's like two characters in one. Maybe that's a bit too much, but you know, that's an idea. Stanley's a weird character. I would like some more monsters, but I prefer Minette over Stanley if we're talking about monster characters in the game. Because the only one we have as like a real monster is really Double. Maybe you can argue Pinwheel as like a monster-ish character. More monsters would be cool. But Stanley is... I wish they redesigned the character. He's a bit tame. Using a variety of shark-themed attacks and high-tech weaponry. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about him. He's just a shark. But in the mobile game, like, I wouldn't be too excited for a shark. Unless he has like... Maybe underneath the robe he has like some mechanical laser stuff, which could be cool. Hive is interesting. Amorphous synthetic parasite Beelzebub. Lots of crazy wall dives, weird movement options, and stingers for a heavily rushdown based pixie. Yo, this could be really cool in the mobile game, because Annie brought like something really cool as a mechanic, which is air dash. Hive could be all about air dashes. Like, imagine that. That actually could be really cool playstyle wise. But as a character, she's odd. Like, are those her hands? Yeah, I quite like Hive just for the playstyle. Leduc is probably one of my favorite characters. I would be super excited if he gets in. Like, we need more male characters, I think. We have like Big Bang and Beowulf. That's it. So more for diversity could be cool. Tyrannus Generator, which can use to disable or destroy targets. The electricity his body channels. Okay, so he's like an electric dude. He's capable of charging his attacks for stronger version. Isn't that just like a charge attack? Maybe it could be a character revolving around charge attacks to power up his stuff. That could be interesting. Track and repulse opponents, huh? Stun status, that'll be broken in mobile. 2 hops with tonsils on the leg. So yeah, Leduc is actually really cool. I really like the design. I think it's really unique. I've never seen a character like this. I need to watch some of these characters and see how they actually play. But yeah, Leduc is definitely one of my top characters that I would have voted for. Ilium. So she's able to squeeze through tight spaces, secrete acid, and wield drills. She's brilliant at infiltration and sabotage. Will make them cruel to use on other human beings. This person is scary. Disgusting and terrifying. She can wrap around the target and solve them to a puddle. So a grab would pretty much kill you. She can also remove her mouth and spit a stream of acid from her mouth. Whoa. I could feel like she'll be full, like she can inflict so much debuffs as a character. Just like Double, but like not just all debuffs, more like specific debuffs like bleed, miasma, poison, like anything that fits her thematically. So she could be like a huge debuff character. That could be interesting to have, but I don't think she's worth the hype. Like if she was a new character, like I don't know anyone who's gonna be excited for her. Haven't actually read anyone mentioning Ilium as like their favorite character. And we have Brain Drain, which is really cool because his playstyle speculation has mind control. Mind control. How would that translate into the game? I think that would be too crazy. Like honestly, I think like at this stage, the developers are probably picking a character with a already well-defined playstyle or something that they just need to tweak a bit. Like Brain Drain feels like really hard to code and make it balanced. So yeah, cool character, but I don't see him being playable. But I want to talk about Andy. Not really. That's not. Fang! Yes! Fang is actually really cool. I've seen her showcase. I think there was like a demo of like what she could do. Let me try to see if I can find it actually. Alright, so I found it. Pay attention to this. It's really cool and quite crazy actually. She's a real acrobat. Like, look at that. Wow. This feels like a big brain play. So I would really love Fang to be the new character, especially for the Asian representation. I think that's really cool. But her playstyle is really big brain if they follow through the sample. Of course, they could change it. Like that kind of playstyle makes sense in the, you know, the fighting game, Skullgirls Second Encore. But in mobile, like, people are having trouble with the current gameplay. Like, some people still have trouble learning how to block and like how to properly counter enemies. And if you add Fang to the mix, I think that's just way too complicated. Unless they change, of course, her mechanic to be like much simpler, which would be really, really cool. I really like Fang. I hope, just from her aesthetic, she's really cool. I like it. Taliesin. I hate Taliesin. He gives me really bad stuff in the cabinet, so I hope you don't be your character. Just stay in your cabinet. Oh, so he's gonna be like a puppet character. I've actually been reading a lot on like common tropes. Not tropes, that's not the word I'm looking for. Common character types in fighting games. And we got like grapplers, which are famous. But a puppet character, I think Miss Fortune is probably the closest one we have. And I don't know if that counts though, because it's only moving her head. Well, I guess it counts, but like, this could actually be a proper puppet character, which is supposed to be like super complex, since you're actually like kind of playing two characters at once. But that could, playstyle wise, that could actually be really interesting. I like it. I still hate Taliesin though. Okay, who, how do I pronounce this?
Hubrecht.
Alright, so it's pronounced Hubrecht. This is one of Cerebell's friends, isn't it? Some would call him childishly naive. I'm not a big fan of Hubrecht because we've already got like a wrestler type of character, and I think he's just gonna be like that, plus extra hearts, sparkles, and rainbows. You know, this reminds me of that guy in Phoenix Wright. Yeah, that guy reminds me of him, Gene Armstrong. Anyway, Regina, the opening beast team of the series. She commands someone. Oh, this could be interesting. So she can control like beasts and monsters, monstrous beasts. Did they come from off screen or from animals? Not kind of. Huh. I don't know how many of you play League of Legends, but just reading her playstyle speculation of having monstrous beasts, I'm like imagining her as like kind of like Aphelios with his weapons, but instead of weapons, you have got beasts, and they kind of like, you can choose which beast to use, and each beast have like a unique attack pattern or something. I don't know how it'll translate to a mobile fighting game, but that's kind of the image I'm getting from just reading her playstyle speculation. Or it could just be a normal, you know, kind of like Peacock and her different projectiles, but this time it's beast. So yeah, I got nothing to say about Regina. Pretty cool character. I kind of like the concept, but I'm not hoping much. Beatrix. She's Cerebella's rival, isn't she? As an agent of the Medici's, Beatrix wears the cloak of Damocles? God, these names. Rare frauds with some rich commits general and supernatural powers with old-fashioned sleight of hand for attacks nobody can see coming. Now you see her, now she's pinning you down with a barrage of knives, possible diversity of weaponry, however it does take an incredible amount of concentrated voltage. So she does have a lot of weapons. Isn't that kind of the same with Dahlia? So what's the difference here? I think just the thematic of it. It's an extra dimensional property to it that she's even able to counter enemy attacks and avoid projectiles by having them fall to the cloak instead. So her cloak can have like mini space powers, I guess. I guess the difference between Dahlia is that Dahlia's weaponry is more projectile based, you know, with guns, grenade launchers, while she's more melee weapons like knives and saws. And what else did she say? Yeah, I don't know what to make of her. I don't actually really like the character. She kind of looks like a smug. Otomo. So he's a robot, isn't he? Piloted by this little creature guy. He looks like a cool character, but I can't see how he's gonna play in the game. Have bullet fingers, hidden guns and missiles, and extendable limbs. Okay, but we kind of have Robo Fortune for those, don't we? Like, it's not to the same degree, but you know, a mechanical thing. Like the one thing that I want this new character to be is like it adds diversity, whether that's like playstyle based or just like how they look. Could be a male character, could be Fang, an Asian character, like just more diversity that people can get excited for. And this reminds me a lot of Robo Fortune, just a taller version of it. No, you get my point. Yuan. It's walking fish with cleavers. Rush down with the side of player 2 chop chop. Supers may result in excessive drooling. This character reminds me of, from League of Legends as well, Tom Kench. Honestly, I think I would like this character more than Stanley. They're both like fish characters. Short, squat, and manic. Yeah, I don't have much to say about this dude. Minette, now I know this is everyone's favorite fish person. Delivers food to passersby who ride past on bikes, jumps down from the sky, pop up from the sewer, or otherwise appear to harass the opponent. She can collect her tips with a super, and the more she collects, the happier she gets. Maybe when she's happy enough, she'll even have the company. Okay, that's... How do you translate this to the mobile game? Now, I know I'm saying mobile game a lot, but that's only because, like, Annie got released because of Hidden Variable, pretty much, right? Like, I know they work together with Lab Zero Games, but Hidden Variable really was the one, and they're the developers of the mobile game, but they're really the one that like, pushed it. Well, I don't know anything, but that's the impression that I got. And they're kind of like spearheading this, so of course they want it to work in the mobile game as well as the second encore. So how would this translate to the mobile game? Because I feel like in the second encore, a lot of playstyle could come to reality, but maybe in the mobile game it's a bit more constrained. So she could have like a happy meter. But then when she's happy enough, she's not clumsy anymore. So it opens up new moves, or like empowers some of her moves to deal more damage. Oh, I have an idea. What if like throughout the stage, there could be like tips floating in different areas of the stage, and you can like collect them to get their meter and once. So you kind of have to like go around the stage a lot instead of just cornering the opponent or get cornered. And by doing that, you make her stronger. So that could be really cool. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised honestly if Minette becomes real, because she's really popular. Like in the polls, she's like number 3. Scythana. I think she's the only character who's like Gigans. Oh, there's Grendel, I guess, but like she's the only possible playable character that's off this race. And I think there was also an playstyle speculation of a video of her possible mechanic, and it involves her picking up fallen opponents and teammates. This mechanic could translate really well into the game, since we have Squiggly that deals with, dead bodies, and Valentine's Forbidden Procedure game. So we already have dead bodies as a mechanic, but picking them up and using it to attack people, now that is really, really new and really interesting. But I honestly don't know how popular she is. I know a few people who like really like her, but in terms of popularity, I think she's not that, I guess top 10, but like not top 3 or top 5, Roxy is a really cool character. Like, I like her design very, very much. She's an engineer as well, so we don't have an engineer, I think. I guess what's her playstyle? A heavy Russian character with an emphasis on parity rather than agility. I'm sure with guns as well as various machine parts she had around. Okay, so I'm not seeing how her playstyle could add diversity, but as a character she's really cool. Like, it feels just like a thematic kind of thing, which is fine, Annie is kind of like that. She does insane combos, but we already have characters that could do more combos. I guess Annie does them like way easier. But yeah, Annie's thing is mostly her thematic, right? Her galactic theme. And I think Roxy is going to be pretty similar if they include her. Just with this oil machine spray paint. That's interesting. Panzerfaust. Now, Leduc is probably my favorite male character that I want in the game, and Panzerfaust is probably the second. Just look at him. He's just huge. Panzerfaust was the greatest creation, super soldier. He has a freaking tank as his arm, like, that's insane. After any punch attack, pressing the button a second time will add an additional blast from the tank. The only problem I have is that he looks like super sturdy and super powerful, so offensive wise, he's probably kind of like Cerebella or even better. But then I feel like he could easily be overpowered just by the sheer of like how he looks. So I don't know. It's gonna be really difficult to balance him. I feel like that's just the impression that I get. But it's really cool. Like, what the heck, a tank as an accessory? That's insane. Although the only another problem I have is that in the mobile game, Big Ben is already like, it's already difficult to see the health or status bar due to Big Ben like covering it up because of his big size, and Panzerfaust looks twice as bigger as Big Ben. So I don't know how they fit into the game. They could make him like, I guess they could like shorten his legs. So it could be like a T-Rex. Like short legs and just big, heavy body. I don't know. Adam, jack of all trades, elite soldier. Just from his face, like he looks really boring. Their life, I don't know, black one said. Oh, that's interesting. Their life bar will be divided into thirds, which if they're inaccurate. Character findings. Oh, so it's like a group. Oh, that's interesting. You're kind of playing 3 characters combined to 1, but they all have different life. However, the group will also have techniques that require most soldiers their lives, such as sacrificing one of them for damage or buff to the next one, or ganging up on the opponent. In addition to its excellent while accessing item skill at a very affordable. That's really cool. So you have like 3 fighter in 1, and they all kind of take turns. Like how do you switch them around though? That would be a bit confusing unless you don't, and you actually have to wait for them, the first 2 to die to get access to Adam, which has more attacks. So that's gonna be weird to pilot. But yeah, the concept is really cool. Having 3 fighters, that's really interesting. Molly will be phone team, phone rotaries, bells, wires. Oh yeah, it's a phone. I didn't realize that. Oh yeah. To reflect for prevention, Mom have the ability to place a series of relay points on the screen, sending an electrical pulse through them. Okay, I can imagine it, but I don't know how to explain it. So I'm just gonna skip it for now. This weird switchboard operators have supportive ability for team bonuses when she's not on point. Team is to gain 1 meter, heal red life faster. But we already have that though. Well, kind of. Sure, hit stun or block stuns. Okay, the concept is really cool as a support character. But in the mobile version, we kind of have like Valentine and Peacock as the support characters in the bench. So I don't know how that will translate well without, working the game. Because I feel like if she's truly a support character, like how many more support can you actually need in the game? Yeah, that's not like my only problem. But in the fighting game, second and core, like this could be really cool. So Isaac, he's a time traveler with time travel mechanics. Whoa. When the countdown reaches 0, oh shoot, this is gonna be another big brain gameplay. It's really cool. I really dig the concept. And I think they've even showcased like how it could potentially look. Let me search for it. Okay, so pretend this Cerebella is Isaac and look at how he could potentially be played. Like, that's kind of cool. You gotta admit it. 3, 2, 1. So he kind of saved that and could use it later on. That's pretty insane. That's so unique. So this looks really cool in second Encore, but I have no idea how this will translate into mobile. So yeah, as I was saying, really cool concept, but I really don't know how this can translate to mobile really much. Venus, god of the space wielder. She grows tired of it, blah blah blah, and a small act of really ladies at the channel. Oh, a central part of a much larger creature. The rest of her invisible observer has already been engulfed. There's no safe place when fighting her as the big. Okay, this looks like a big boss fight. I don't see her becoming like a character. She can open holes in space, move and teleport in unexpected ways. or even distort the playfield itself. Yeah, this is kind of bizarre. Like, how do you make that into a playable character? She could be a boss fight, kind of similar to what I said about Murray. I think that would be really cool and really sick. But as a playable character though, she'll have to be really toned down for the balance and stuff. And probably the same as Aeon as well, although I really like her design. Is her body an hourglass? Oh, so she's similar to Double instead of... Okay, so I thought it was gonna be like Isaac's time travel thing, but no, it's kind of like she wields hypothetical versions of characters to attack. These figures from the past have been seen yet. Oh, that could be cool. Alternate version of the cast, including ones where they have become the next Skullgirl. That's actually really, really interesting. Some of her moves may bring in her accumulated merchandise. Okay, so yeah, this is kind of similar to Venus. Like, she's just a... She fits more as a boss character rather than a playable character. Although, like, alternate versions of the cast, that could be really interesting. Yeah, I really don't know how this is going to translate to mobile. As a playable boss character like that, could be possible. But yeah, I really like Aeon Venus to be a boss character more than a playable character. And then we have Samson, which is truly a monster. I think this is the best monster character. Okay, so the playstyle speculation is just... gives like thematic clues, but I don't really understand like how this could be have diverse gameplay. Though I probably have to like see how these characters play. But anyway, the design is really cool. Having Philia at the top is really hilarious. Alright, so if you've reached this part, you've listened to me rambling for quite a while now, so congratulations! Okay, so just to end it, I'm just gonna say which are my top 5 characters I really want to see. So Marie is one of them. I really like her aesthetic. The next is Leduc. I don't know how to pronounce these names. Yeah, he's a really cool one. I really like his design. Another male character, so it's really cool. I really like Fang as well for the Asian representation, although her playstyle could be a bit more complicated. Although maybe they made it simpler in the game, who knows? I really like Fang. And that's my top 3. I think Minette actually has a really good chance of appearing, honestly. Like, I'm not a super big fan of Minette, but I just gotta say, I think if she were to be released, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Like, she's very, very popular. Roxy, I really dig her design. But I really like my top 3 more than her, unfortunately. Panzerfaust is... Screw it, he's my top 4. I'm adding Panzerfaust into my list. Adam has really cool playstyle, but like his character is kind of dull. Like, yeah, but his playstyle is really cool. Isaac feels a bit complicated to be put in the game. Venus and Aeon, while cool, are more like boss-like characters. Oh no, we've reached the end and I don't want to... Okay, so instead of top 5, I'll just say top 4. So it's Panzerfaust, Murray... I forgot. Leduc, and Fang. Those are the characters that I really want in the game. I think they're really cool characters, and they'll add something really new to the game. Maybe Marie won't add something new, but like the other 3 I feel like would. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. Thank you so much for watching and listening to me rambling for 20 plus minutes or so. I don't know how long this video is going to be, because I haven't edited it yet, but it was way longer, because I paused a lot. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.